Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Here's our next hopeful. Deval Patrick. Do you remember during the campaign where Obama was going against Mitt Romney? Obama versus the plutocrat. No more hope and change. Hope and change has faded into grim reality. And he was going against Bain. Or he was going against Mitt Romney, the guy who used to work for Bain, the guy who used to try to extract profit, vulture capitalists. We're going to take a company, we're going to rape it of its resources, we're going to strip it to the bone, and we're going to try to make profit. And yes, we ourselves are going to make a huge amount of profit, whether that company lives or dies or not. Remember how he excoriated Mitt Romney? This moral core, this moral fortitude of shaking his fist at Romney, screaming shame, and having the audience to scream shame at him because of his wealth, and because of the way he used that wealth, and because of the way he acquired that wealth. And Obama wasn't necessarily wrong in that. Meaning, if you're going to be a vulture capitalist, for the most part, you don't give a shit about the company you're extracting profit from. You're in it purely to maximize your profit. You care nothing about the people who are working at those places. It's amazing how politics changes when there's an advantage to be had. Obama urges Bain Capital director to run for president. You don't say. Running a Wall Street, it would be disastrous for the Democratic Party. This is the Observer. I remember Deval Patrick. You know, I'm always amazed at status quo Democrats, the centrists, the people who can't make up their minds on what they want to be, the people who are taking a huge amount of cash and leaning in a particular direction. Those people. Now, and look, let's talk about this word centrist for the moment. These guys aren't centrist in regards to policy. There's no such thing as being a centrist or anything else. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? What are you trying to accomplish when it comes to this particular country? That's what matters. This idea of calling yourself a centrist is just another word for, yes, I'm taking a huge amount of cash, and yes, I'm leaning to the right. I call myself a centrist because that's just the way I'm being pulled. You have progressives on one end, the leftists, for the most part, the malcontents in the country, the people who want the country to be a better place, the people who actually, in their heads, can see a better place. They can see this world being a completely different place. You have those people, the hopeful, the poets, the people who want better things for themselves and for their neighbors and for the rest of the world. You have those people in the party. At the very least, those people would lean or more likely vote in that particular direction. Then you have the plutocrats. You have the people who are at the other end. Those people on the right, tugging at them, pulling at them, trying to pull them ever closer to, hey, I need to maximize my profits, and I'm giving you money and campaign donations so you can help me maximize my profits. You're an investment. Here's $1 billion. How do you deal with those two forces? Both of which completely antagonistic in regards to the other. One side being humanists, people who essentially look at this thing that human beings have value, and their value should be espoused over anything else that takes place, with the exception of the environment, because we live on this particular planet, meaning if something happens to this planet, something happens to us. But all things being equal, humanity over profits, people over markets. You have the flip side of that at the other end of that equation. How do you deal with those two things? How do you deal with those two opposing forces in your particular party? I have an idea. I can call myself a moderate. And I could say, hey, I have all these progressive ideas and progressive values, but I'm practical. I need money to win. And so, yes, I'm going to lean over to the right, but I'm going to talk to the left. And that's essentially what I'm going to do for 20, 30 years. Getting nothing done in office, blaming Republicans all the way, but not really having that fight in me, because if I had that fight in me, I'm going to lose my donors. Up next in that list, Deval Patrick. Let's go through this article. I found this article to be amazing. How do you lose this much and still want to get a say-so in what's going on? You lost 66 out of 99 state legislatures. How do you lose to that massive degree and still turn around and say, I have another person I want to put up? How? How? In what other context does that take place? How often do you roll the dice and fail that miserably but still want to get your hands on the dice? It's amazing. This is Observer. The field of contenders for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination is exploding. Every faction of the Democratic Party is tossing out possible candidates in hopes that one of them will inspire enthusiasm from the voters. He's not. None of them has. They're not. There's a reason for it. Politico reported on August 1st that Obama and his inner circle are urging former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick to run in 2020. Politico reports Valerie Jarrett, Obama's close advisor and friend, says that a President Patrick is what my heart desires. Not what my heart desires. That's awesome. David Seamus, Obama's political director in the White House and is now CEO of his foundation. Oh, good job. You got a raise. Used to be Patrick's deputy chief of staff and remains perhaps his biggest fan on the planet. Obama himself, who is personally close to Patrick and counts him among the very small group of people whom he thinks is actual political talent, has privately encouraged him to think about it, among others. So Obama thinks you have political talent. Hey, look, if Obama was white, I'm sorry, dude, it's not the same. And I know this is going to hurt some lefties to their heart to hear this, but you understand that a lot of what Obama calls talent, yes, he has the capacity to give speeches. That's awesome. His skin tone, to some degree, magnifies that ability to give speeches because it harkens back to people like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a socialist. Obama, well, he gave 95% of the wealth to the top 1%. This idea that he's saying political talent, yes, Obama had political talent because he used all of the things that he had in regards to his characteristics to his advantage. Fair enough. That's true. What about getting shit done? There were 8 years in office. Yes, there were 8 years before Donald Trump took hold. A right-wing healthcare plan. Is that really political acumen? When you're holding a supermajority in the Senate, you own the House and you own the presidency. A right-wing healthcare plan. All right. That's political acumen, I guess. At a conference earlier in the year, hosted by former White House communications director Anthony Scaramucci, hedge fund, Jarrett said Patrick was her pick for 2020. Deval Patrick is an Obama Foundation board member and appears to have gained the enamor of Obama's corporate elites or corporate allies. After he left office in 2015, Patrick became manager of Mitt Romney's venture capital group, Bain Capital. He also worked at Texaco Oil Company for Coca-Cola. Who do you think he represents? What do you think he believes in? And you can see this is all just the boys club. And I don't mean boys club in this traditional sense of just boys or men. I'm just meaning, yeah, and I don't even mean boys club in the sense of boys. I just mean this is, all of these people for the most part are in the same circles. Obama, Romney, Deval Patrick, Clinton. It's a round table. I mean, Anthony Scaramucci's hedge fund. This is amazing. I mean, look, all I'm saying is, who do you think these guys are going to represent? And do you honestly believe they're going to represent your interests? You had 8 years of Obama, and I know a lot of people are enamored with Obama. I'm not one of those people. I am not. I'm one of those malcontents. I'm one of those people who actually believe that we have a planet that we need to look after, and we have human beings that we need to espouse their virtues and make sure they have the things they need to be fully actualized citizens. Obama doesn't believe those things. Obama didn't implement those things. Obama didn't try to implement those things. The Democratic Party doesn't believe those things. The Democratic Party, when they were in office, they had absolute power. They could have did anything they wanted. Their value system should have shown. I'd argue the value system did show. They passed Obamacare, a right-wing healthcare plan, leaving millions of people uninsured and still bankrupting people with medical bills. Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and now this guy, Deval Patrick. All of them are black, which, whatever. That could just be a quirk. One is a woman. So the Democratic Party is still going with this idea of identity politics. I remember when the Republican Party was doing that. That's amazing. It's like when you run out of ideas, you can pick the last card in the deck, and that last card is, let's just talk about stuff that has nothing to do with the actual issues in our particular country. Dealing with class. This guy is a plutocrat, or at the very least, he's working with other plutocrats. And I would wager to you that his interests, the things that he cares about, the things that he thinks about, it's not the same interest as the 99%. He may say one or two things, like Obama said, one or two things to try to get across this idea of himself as being to the left. I don't believe it. I'm unconvinced. The guy's coming out of Bain Capital. He's coming out of Mitt Romney's old company. And they're talking about, I think this guy has political acumen. Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do. He may have all the political acumen in the world. I don't give a shit about his political acumen. What I care about is, who do you represent? What do you stand for? Are you standing for the interests of the 99%? What was Deval Patrick when they were beating the shit out of Native Americans? Standing Rock. Those are the things I care about. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? Don't just tell me, show me. What do you believe in? I'm consistently asking this question because ultimately I don't necessarily have an answer. Or at the very least, the answer that I'm getting or the answer that I'm perceiving is not necessarily something that goes along with my interests or the interests of leftists in general. Here's another person who would not get my vote. So, good luck, Deval Patrick. You're going to need it. I'll leave it at that. Alright, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, subscribe. You can always support the work through Patreon. Thank you.